Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about patterns. But before I delve into patterns, I want to say that medically we have diseases that have spanned through generations. For instance, you may have somebody who say my grandmother was hypertensive, father is hypertensive, mother hypertensive, and the next generation is hypertensive, something like that. You may hear somebody say, my mother had diabetes, my father had, and then my elder brother now has diabetes. It has spanned generations. And other illnesses like even asthma and some others like that have a generational impact or are transmitted genetically. That happens medically. Now, spiritually, you may have patterns. What are patterns? Patterns are repeated occurrence of things that has happened over time, maybe to an individual or maybe to a community or families. Now, some people don't even know. Some people are really that naive. They may not even know that there's a pattern in their families. So it is important to be observant. What are the things that happened to your parents or maybe to your mom and dad and it's not happening to you and your siblings, and maybe you're not seeing traces of it in your children. You're like, my dad had this, my elder sister has this, my child is not having it. That's a pattern already. And if it's a negative pattern, there are ways to stop that. So you have to first of all, number one, check out what are those patterns. What are these things that have been recurring in your family? Is it delayed marriage? Is it no children at all? Is it nobody has ever gone to school? Is that nobody ever goes past primary school? Or nobody has even ever entered university in your family? Something like that. It may not be any of this, but number one, check through what are the patterns, what is recurring that has been spanning generations. And secondly, as a Christian, it is expected that you now live in Christ and Christ now lives in you. So you'll be able to know that, okay, you have authority in Christ to be able to handle this. So first of all, they expected that as a Christian, be able to pray about it. And also it's good to know that as you're praying, these patterns or called or maybe covenants or whatever were entered into. We think some of them without your knowledge you know nothing about what happened. You know nothing about that contract that was entered into. So you need to take it. Spiritual things require spiritual solutions. Medical things require medical solutions. So these patterns, if they are spiritual in nature, need spiritual attention. That's why I said prayer. And you need to pray, you need to fast. We need to do prayer of agreement. If you're praying alone, it's not okay, you're not seeing result. You need to agree with another person that believes in the same faith as you. You pray. It's not working. You may need to now maybe come in with your pastor. You may need to even add fasting to it. There are some patterns that will not clear. Some patterns are what we call this kind. Does not work without prayer and fasting. Now, I've heard some in my conversations and deep interfaces with parents and young adults. I keep hearing things like, Junior, for instance, is doing this thing. And the father, this thing actually happened to the father at the same age, at 14. That's what my husband told me. And Junior is now 14 and he's not having the same thing. That's a reoccurrence already. So nip it in the bud. What you don't like, don't watch. Nip it in the bud already. So don't let it continue. So you have to be spiritually alert as parents. So it's a call to spiritual alertness. You can't be a parent in this world, in these times, and be spiritually naive. No. You have to be spiritually alert. So this is a call for spiritual alertness. Look at the patterns. Look at what is looking like a trend in your family, spiritual trend, and nip it in the bud by prayer, by fasting, and being very close to God. Because you can't cast out a devil or cast out or nip a pattern in the bud by just a walk in the park or just chewing gum. No, it calls for spiritual sensitivity and prayers. Like, comment, share. What are your patterns? What patterns are you dealing with? I have my own patterns too, but God has helped us to nip some of them in the bud. What patterns are you dealing with? Let's know in the comment section.